You've probably been looping your affirmations over and over and you don't even realize just how powerful it's been. I'm going to explain to you guys why repetition is actually the most powerful thing you can do for your manifestation and even tie in the quantum mechanics behind it. Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Hi to any new viewers. We are diving deep into repetition. Why it might seem like nothing's working, nothing's changing, the old story is still really prevalent. Why am I still seeing and experiencing the old version? But I'm also going to actually explain why maybe this isn't the case. Maybe it's a subjective view. Why maybe your reality could be stuck, but what is the simple solution to get out of this? Whether you're currently experiencing unnecessary doubt or you just want to know what is going on, how do I actually make sure that my 3D reality shifts? Keep watching because I've got lots of advice for you guys. So let's get into it. If you're putting in the effort, even just some repetition, some type of positive habits, positive shifts, mentally repetition, whatever approach you're taking, whether you just have a positive visual come up in your mind, if you are doing something, then you are creating a mental shift. You are literally conforming, and you yourself have to conform as well. It's not that you're trying to change other people and everything externally. It all does stem from you, and you have to conform to that new version and outcome that you're creating as well. And the problem is this is often intangible. So when I say problem, I mean that's what causes doubt or wavering, questioning, manifesting, questioning your own progress so far, because when you can't see something and you might start to get frustrated, it's easy to just say, oh my gosh, it looks the same, why am I putting in all this effort? But what's important to remember is that it does start with you, and oftentimes the 3D reality is lagging behind. It's trying to catch up to you, and it's not an if, it's a when, but it's up to you to put in the effort. So what I mean is it's trying to reflect back to you exactly where your focus is, but it's not an instant shift. It's not a magic spell. This is reality that we're talking about. So depending on what you're manifesting, it could be a couple hours, it could be a couple days, or even a couple weeks for your manifestation to naturally progress in the way it's supposed to, in this full, amazing, natural way, especially if there's a specific person involved, then it's going to catch up and mirror you, but it has a bit of a time lag. So remember that initial shift, and the most important part, is happening within you. So do be self-aware, and I'm going to explain this a little bit more in the video as well. But yeah, self-awareness is a key element. I always tell my viewers, my clients, make sure that you are understanding and knowing that shift is happening in you. If you feel more positive, you feel better, you have a positive dream, whatever it may be internally, that is a sign of conforming. That is part of the conforming process. If you catch yourself in this negative loop of checking your circumstances or progress and then reacting and feeling a sense of not a sense of desire, but feeling a neediness for your manifestation and frustration and impatience, you're going to get really stuck in this negative cycle. And every morning, every day, you're just going to reaffirm what you don't have and what you don't want. When you get stuck trying to look for signs or look for some kind of visible, tangible change, that usually isn't even an indicator that your manifestation has, is definitely coming together. Sometimes it is intangible. You just can't see it. It's behind the scenes. The first signs of progress are your own thoughts, your own feelings, your sense of confidence. Those are all signs of conforming. But if you get stuck in thinking, well, I have to get a text from SB, I have to see this email, I have to see this update from, a person in my life, whatever it may be, when you get stuck looking for those signs, what you're doing is you're looking outwards instead of internally. Again, you're not applying self-awareness or saying, okay, well, here's actually all the positives. Here are the signs and things I've experienced throughout my conforming, and where I can see, actually, I do really believe there is progress. So looking externally and externalizing the validation and waiting for something to come up is again saying to your subconscious mind, I don't have what I want, and then reaffirming this assumption that it takes a long time, you have to wait ages, it's not working, it's really slow, it's so difficult to manifest. Those are likely the types of assumptions and thoughts that will come up in your mind if you get stuck in that, if you continue this loop. So just be self-aware. Not everyone is going to experience this, but I'm giving examples of what can come up even just really subtly one split second and that thought can come up in your mind, especially, first thing in the morning, if you're not starting with a good routine, that may come up. You might look at your phone and say, oh, there isn't a text message, and then it just kind of rolls from there. So just be self-aware. That's the first thing, to catch those reactions. It's okay if they come up, but at least catch them and understand, okay, I need to get out of a habit and make sure I'm not looking for signs, judging everything externally. And the explanation behind it, as I already said, is that your 3D usually experiences a bit of a time lag. I did say it depends what you're manifesting. For example, if you're just trying to improve an existing relationship with a partner already, and you want a certain text message, an apology or something like that, or just certain circumstances and parts of the relationship to improve, yes, that could literally be within hours. It could be a very sudden shift because you're not creating something that feels very distant or difficult. And that also doesn't require a lot of human changes, right? It's another human being, not a robot. So it does depend, and there's no right or wrong. There's no exact way to quantify it, but I am saying, apply a little bit of realism where it is supportive for your manifestation, because I am not one of those coaches, as I've always said, who's going to tell you, manifest instantly, it's already yours right now. And yes, in the 5D it is, but your physical reality is not going to reflect that. So that's what I always highlight in my videos, that it starts with you. It's an internal conforming process, and it doesn't mean something's wrong necessarily just because you're not literally experiencing those tangible results yet. So your 3D experiences a bit of a time lag. It's probably going to be reflecting the old assumptions. If you haven't seen that shift just yet, and you know and believe you are putting in a lot of effort in terms of flipping around and not engaging in negative thought patterns, if you're doing all of that, looping affirmations, meditations, whatever practice it may be, just be a little bit more patient, give it time, understand these elements that I'm explaining, the basic key parts of the manifesting process about a 3D time lag, your internal conforming preceding the actual result coming in. So it is reflecting those old assumptions, but the more you keep building up the new assumptions, the more that is what starts to show up in your 3D reality. When you let go of this need for validation, external reassurance from your 3D, from your SP, whatever it may be, that's when it really starts to show up, because you've shifted out of that old way of thinking. So again, remind yourself, it does already exist. It can and will be yours if you stay persistent. And the only reason you haven't had it yet is because you haven't consistently focused on it. And that's not putting any blame on anyone, but also the 3D reality needs a little more time. The other person involved needs a natural time to just naturally, in their own way, conform and be the perfect version that aligns with that, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, just some kind of better form of communication or type of relationship, whatever it may be. If it's just an intangible, well, not intangible, but if it's a object, an inanimate object that you're manifesting, like your dream car, dream house, remember, there are parts of this process that need to happen in order for that to perfectly come in. Most people watching won't turn on notifications or even hit the subscribe button. That's almost 60%. So you may actually end up missing out on the videos that answer your exact manifesting questions. So hit that subscribe button if you'd like to support my channel and stay up to date with all my upcoming content, and turn on the notification bell. Your subconscious mind is actually going to respond most to certainty. You do not need 100% belief or 100% confidence in your manifestation. That is not a realistic thing to say, okay, now I want you to just suddenly start believing that your manifestation is yours. It doesn't work that way. The human conscious logical mind and the way the subconscious stores information doesn't just suddenly shift just like that. But when you come from a state of certainty, repetition, confidence, and really normalizing this new reality and outcome to your mind and saying, this is what I have, this is what I have, this is what's realistic, this is how my reality actually looks. When you saturate it to that point, that's when it accepts it. So when you are on the other end of things, engaging in doubt and wavering and letting yourself go into these negative what if scenarios, that type of thinking, you are selecting and continuing to accept the undesired version of your reality, the undesired quantum reality. Instead of all the other positive potential outcomes that tie into your desired outcome, you're putting your focus again on what you don't want, Maybe this is also someone who would get into a victim mindset and just say, this is happening to me, I don't understand why. Instead of applying just a little bit of introspection, just trying to say, okay, what can I learn from this? What is actually happening? Do I really think and know that I have been on track? So in order to get your reality to mirror exactly what you want, your mind and your body need to start to accept it, normalize it. It cannot feel like this really foreign, external, really far off pipe dream, so to speak, where it seems unrealistic and you're like, oh, imagine if reality could be that good. No, you tell yourself, my reality is already that good. So just remember that all the versions of potential outcomes, and especially all the amazing positive types of reality that involve your desired relationship, career, life, financial status, all of those are already in existence in the quantum realm. So with the repetition, what you're going to start to see and experience and become is this new version of your identity, just you 2.0. Not a big change, it's not changing every single thing, but you're going to elevate your mindset, the way you feel, the way you carry yourself, your confidence levels, all of that will be in alignment. And yes, you can put a little extra focus on things like self-concept if needed, but generally all of this does come together naturally. So your identity, your self-concept, what's going on, that whole internal shift of you accepting this is real, this is mine, I deserve it, I'm worthy of it, that is aligning you with the version of reality you want. Essentially, that quantum magnetic field that you're connecting to, so to speak. You're selecting that version of reality because you are internally embodying it with repetition. So the reality where that desire is already yours is what you are literally aligning to, connecting to, and reaching your hand out to grab by focusing on it with repetition, by as simple as looping affirmations. It's not some big magical formula that you need to do. It's just being consistent and applying repetition. And with that alone, if you do nothing other than apply repetition to saturate your mind and just repeat all throughout the day, and not your entire day, there is that distinction, but all throughout your day, you are applying repetition, you are becoming the version of you that is already in that reality. You're convincing your mind, your body, your emotional state, your neural pathways in your brain, literally everything internally is conforming to that version. So going back to the basics as well, with law of assumption, you guys literally know, I'm sure, the key principle is not to hope and wish. And yes, you can pray, and prayer is amazing, but in terms of your own personal mindset and the actions that you take here, just, as a human, as you in your reality, you're not hoping and wishing and saying, oh, I wish this would come. Oh, I wish I lived in a different reality. You're not doing that or saying, oh, my circumstance isn't good, but maybe one day it will change. No, law of assumption is confirming, deciding, and selecting. You're saying, this is the outcome I want, and therefore, this is where I'm going to put my focus. So as I just mentioned neural pathways briefly, I want to come back to that because what's really amazing is that whatever you consistently think, consistently feel, and essentially everything going on internally, the mental state and internal state that you hold, even just multiple times a day, is what your neural pathways are going to conform to. They're going to adapt and shift based on what you're experiencing, what you're focusing on. So your subconscious mind, the brain, doesn't know what's real or imagined. So when you hold a visual, you are likely to feel those emotions because your mind isn't saying, oh, I'm just playing out some random thoughts and images in my brain. You are mentally in that moment experiencing it. When you really tap into a visual, I've experienced this, I know my clients have, a lot of you guys watching might be able to relate, that you are literally feeling it, like visualizing. When you really tap into that and you can connect to it and, get good at meditating or just find a really good moment in your day where it just works perfectly, you know what I'm talking about. It feels real internally. Your brain can't tell the difference between imagining and an actual real objective, fact or scenario in your reality. The more you do this, the more it's actually telling your subconscious mind that this is real. This is a literal experience I'm having, and that's how the 3D will catch up to try and mirror it back to you. Another great little fact that maybe I should have put in my previous video where I did talk a lot about these kind of psychological and quantum facts, but the more you apply repetition and replace those old assumptions with the new assumptions because of the repetition, you are building up cognitive familiarity. That's why I always say you are normalizing it, making it feel safe, natural and normal for you to have your desired outcome, because you're just literally normalizing it to your mind, to your body. Your heart racing will calm down to a normal, a normal heartbeat, because you're going to start seeing this as a normal part of your reality and realistic. So going back to something I haven't spoken about much in my more recent videos is the RAS, reticular activating system. What it's going to do is match your dominant beliefs. So it's always going to be seeking out what is aligning with your dominant focus, your dominant assumptions and beliefs. The more, and it doesn't need to be a full belief, because obviously that's when your manifestation is actually in your reality, but when you start focusing on, through visualization, repetition of affirmations, whatever practice it may be, even just inner conversations, and you keep drilling into your mind, no, this is what I have, this is my reality, your RAS is going to filter your reality, what you see, what your attention goes to, essentially, that matches that. And that's also going to help you feel a lot better and realize, oh, these are things I didn't catch before. These are, my attention and my awareness has gone so high up, which I have personally experienced as well, that I'm just much more hyper aware, but in a healthy, balanced way. Not about every single thing, but my mindset, what I'm reacting to, where maybe I reverse engineer and say, if I have this conversation, if I continue this conversation, it could lead to this, or it will build into this assumption. That's not going to help me. Just the awareness that you build up and noticing and picking up on signs and things you wouldn't have seen before. It's just such a powerful outcome. So keep applying your repetition, and this process will happen naturally. You are teaching your mind that this is your reality. It's already done. So the more you say, it's done, it's here, it's mine, or you can specifically say, this outcome, this result, this manifestation is mine. Get specific with what exactly it is, but also just saying it's done, it's here, as you're affirming, or, as you're having a little inner conversation as part of your mental diet, that is confirming to your mind, this is my reality, this is what I'm experiencing. I'm not waiting on it. I haven't had lack. I'm not waiting around for signs. I'm literally experiencing it now. So you're practicing that inner confirmation to build up that cognitive familiarity, to normalize it, to prevent wavering, and therefore your 3D reflects it more and more, because you're in the new story, not the old story. So also remember that the time frame is irrelevant. It doesn't matter what's going on, or if it's been 3 weeks and the circumstances haven't changed, but just ignore the time frame. That doesn't matter. That's not a key element. What matters is where you put your focus, where you keep bringing your thoughts back to. But that's something I'd also love to hear your thoughts on in the comments. Leave a comment below. Do you guys maybe struggle with thinking about the time frame, or is that something you've also noticed it really helps to not put your focus on? And make sure you are repeating those affirmations out of knowing, this is the reality I'm selecting. These are the experiences in my life I'm creating. Me literally just achieving my goals by putting my mental focus and repetition into it. I am working towards all my desired outcomes. You're not coming from a state of desperation. You're coming from a state of just selecting and deciding and being in control of your reality.